I'm really inspired by whatever is around me, my family, my friends, my students, people I don't know, nature, sounds from nature, and how they're connected to a specific place and memory and time. I'm also really inspired by comedy and sounds from really everywhere. Domestic sounds from my apartment, my kitchen, the way a specific person laughs, the way someone talks. It really could be anything that sparks an idea. I do have a kind of special interest, or I'm really drawn to non-conventional sound makers and also objects from childhood, like music boxes, toys. And more than anything, I feel like that's a connection to not only nostalgia, but there's also a sense of irreverence that is inherent in those objects and those instruments. And I'm really interested in tapping into that and in a way accessing another side of them and playing with what happens when we take these sort of mundane objects or objects that a lot of their identity relies in not being professional and then put them in a professional setting, and what happens when they overlap with more traditional instruments, and also all the possibilities for manipulating sounds and taking a sound that could have very specific associations to someone, but then what happens if I take out an important part of the sound, like the attack, for example, and leave the resonance, and what transformations can come out of that. My compositional process is very visual. I often start with an image. It could be something very specific, like a painting, a word, but it could also be just a texture or a color or a feeling, just something pretty evocative in my head that can then start the process of capturing ideas and developing them in a way that feels satisfying to me. I I then almost always collect sounds either from the environment or from my house or samples from other pieces that I've written in the past and create a sound library for the specific piece and then start playing around with those sounds. So I almost always, if the piece is electronics, almost always starting with the electronics and playing around with manipulating and processing those sounds and seeing what the sounds want to do in this piece. And then from there, it's a pretty intuitive and organic process in which I'm just following my ears and trying to not think so much about theory or chord progressions or rhythm in an intellectual way, and more following my intuition and writing something that I'd like to hear.